Hello YouTube, it's RJ the West here, my friend Last Night VOC. Welcome back to another episode of GTA Online. And welcome back to episode 300, 200, you know what? 113. Oop. Five. Alright. Get ready for our job mission.
Hello? Alright, it'll cost us, but I have plenty of friends with extra chemicals laying around.
Watching myself literally just touching my head. 8 seconds later. Right. There's the right frequency for my chair. Apparently, an old enemy of ours decided to ruin our time hanging out here, so we had to call some reinforcements to help us out. In other words, to war! The full-on invasion. Do not go near the edges, you will die. Oh yeah, that's right. We have all our weapons. Oh, it's raining men!
Hallelujah.
You know what's funny? Every time I hear that song, I'm immediately thinking like sailors, like are just departing or coming back from war or something like that. I don't know. I have no idea what that song is actually about. We're technically under siege. You may have noticed. I thought it was pretty fun doing it, like adding some containers. Ooh, butterfly.
This is the Motor X, guys.
Yep.
Ouch.
Ow. I was gonna give them I was originally gonna give them their traditional Blazer Aquas, but it was too hard putting them in the water, so I just made it to where they're basically like they're putting us under siege. You missed. Oh, no you didn't. Lady, you do realize you're shooting the sandbags, right?
Don't tell them that. They feel like they're doing something.
Oh, come on, no. Ow!
What happened?
I was gonna throw a pipe bomb and they shot it off my hand. They're
That's funny.
ironically, the placed enemies are way more of a they're way more of a threat. Ow! Ow. 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 I know they're armed with compact rifles, but ow. Okay. Ow. They literally act like snipers out there, dude.
Hmm.
Frogger's too easy to take down.
Owie.
Ow. What's actually making this mission a little scary is the fact that we are surrounded on all corners. This is ironic though. If they don't get shot off the jet skis, they're literally just gonna be stuck riding bitch in the back. Really? Ow. There's other people to shoot.
No, there ain't.
Yes, there is. They can shoot they can shoot our allies.
You're the creator. They want to shoot you instead.
Ow.
They want to kill their father.
They're just angry because I placed them in that situation.
They're lashing out. You need to punish them.
Ow! This place is this area is feeling like a war zone.
That's because it is.
Luckily I placed a lot of barriers down, but they're not gonna help us very much. I noticed that the speed that ow. I have noticed that the ones in the jet skis, they act like I never adjusted their accuracy. Even if I did, it would not change very much.
Hmm.
We're just fighting off a siege for like 30 minutes. God, I love the hookers with the machine guns. I only put 5 of them down, and we have 10 of your guys. So both our armies are actually here. I forgot to make it to where NPCs stop dropping their weapons. Ew. Like, what am I gonna do with this gun?
Shoot it.
Ugh. Doesn't even sound right. My only main concern with this mission setup is if our allies die and they don't come back, we're kind of screwed. We'll literally just be fighting helicopters. If we get too close to the edge, we'll pretty much die. How ironic is that? I don't know why, but I'm still hearing those damn voices from the last game that we were playing. All that constant banter. Literally hearing the Ogren talking, dude, and it's so annoying. It is so annoying. And that annoying voice that the Psyker has, oh my god. Like, I'm literally hearing my Ogren talking in the distance right now. That game has given me so much PTSD. That helicopter looked like it was about to fall in the water.
It did now.
Ah. Well, that girl's still alive up there. By the way, I actually made it to where those jet skis are really fragile. They take twice the amount of damage.
Mm.
Oh shit! Helicopter on my face. Ah, no! Jeez. Ah! Ow, ow, ow. Can't lock onto them for some reason. Ow. If I actually wanted to, I could have made it to where the enemies literally land their jet skis on the island and try to make their way up. Now to think about it, I could have like built ramps around, forcing the enemy to actually like board the island by force. Should have done that. Why didn't I think of that a few hours ago? Oh yeah, because I was by myself.
Because you were in a hurry to get back to the other game.
On the contrary, I was just watching some YouTube later, after I got done with that.
Raining pretty hard right now.
In real life or in game?
Real life. Go water your tree. I was just poking fun with Uncle David.
Yeah, I knew that.
What am I looking at over there? Uh-oh.
What?
Might lose power. My lights are flickering.
You said it's raining where you're at?
Yeah.
Heavy wind and rain.
You might get it soon. The winds are slowly starting to pick up here. That would suck if we lost power right now. Can't do anything about it. Yep, they're slowly starting to pick up. Oh my god, I regret. I regret nothing. I'm pushing these guns. I'm literally pushing these guns.
was that beeping?
Me throwing pipe bombs.
Sounded like a damn microwave. That's what it sounded like. Like a microwave, like you're pushing the buttons on the microwave.
Oh! Oh, I'm out of pipe bombs. I gotta grab more. Oh! Oh! Damn, you really don't... You really can't afford it. I got sniped. The main enemy that surrounds the island, they're all equipped with compact rifles. Are they that damn good? It's funny, you can't actually...
Oh!
What?
Our lights got real dark, and now they're bright again.
Oh, the winds are starting to kick up here, dude. They're starting to... Same... Oh, I'm out of ammo.
Our lights just went completely dark, and then it got bright again, then the air conditioning shut off.
Uh-huh. I just saw a helicopter just nose dive into the ocean. Yeah, I didn't think this mission all the way through. And he lost power. Oh, guys. There goes my friend. I'm alone in here. Looks like it's up to me. Ow! Ow! Yeah, I really didn't think this mission through. When I was working on it earlier this afternoon, my mind was elsewhere. Yeah, it's raining. I might lose power too, guys. Don't be surprised if the stream cuts off early. Raining in game, raining in real life. Oh god, I just realized my allies are not respawning all the way back, all the way. Whoa. Oh shit. Eee! Got 7.5 minutes, guys. This is trajectory. It's not letting me know where it's hitting. Ah. Yep, winds are definitely starting to pick up, guys. Ow. Ow. Oh my god, I'm gonna die. Yee! Whoa! I'm not throwing them far enough. Or am I? Gotta stay in the center of the island. Ow! Yeah. Ah. Take a night, bitches. Ooh, lightning. I mean, you know what's ironic, guys? I actually put the base units are the ones in the jet skis out there. And I almost, like, it's kind of interesting on how I ended up... Oh, God, there went... Oh. Ouch. Ow. Ouchie. No. Damn it, sticky bombs. I could have been killed out there. Oop, rumbling outside. Got around a minute left. I should have gave them pistol, like drive-by weapons. The helicopter guys. Ooh. Good thing that container was there. I like burst firing this. Mission over. Jordan killed 123 enemies, died once, I died twice. I'm surprised I didn't die as much though in there. I mean, eh. Wow. Look at this, guys. It's the same island. Let's do something for you guys. Ah, the bridge. I'm just gonna type up a story for us to read. Wait, why do I have my sunglasses off? Alright guys, so I'm just typing up a secret love story between Mesa's operator and Limbo's operator. The somatic link hummed, a low vibratory frequency that resonated through the cold metal floor of the orbiter's transference room. Inside her pod, Samantha, 25, opened her eyes. Her physical body remained nestled in the sterile cradle, but her consciousness was anchoring back from the somatic weave of Mesa. Across the aisle, James, also 25, was already stepping out of his pod, stretching his real legs with a sigh. You are tracking a rounding error again, Samantha said. Wait, oh, you know what? Hold on a second, guys. James is autistic and with high IQ, and Samantha is I have to make up something as I go. What was that? Is a what do I want? How should I make Samantha? What would her personality be like? And what would the personality of Mesa be like? Analytical. Wait, analytical? How do you spell that? There it is. Is analytical. There we go. That's how we should do it. We need to build more of the story here. Standard issue mechanics of the orbiter were loud, but inside the rift, the universe was perfectly silent. James adjusted his focus through the somatic link. Limbo's long, metallic fingers mirrored his own movements, sliding a non-existent pocket watch into a coat made of bent light. For James, the rift wasn't just a tactical ability, it was a sanctuary. It was a mathematical absolute where the chaotic, unpredictable noise of the physical world could be filtered out, sorted, and cataloged. He was 25, but his mind has always operated on a different clock cycle than his peers. People were variables he couldn't easily solve. Math, geometry, and the void between dimensions. Those made sense. Transference synchronization at 98%. A voice reported over the comms. Samantha. James blinked. His consciousness tugged lightly toward the somatic link pod. Samantha's voice has always had a distinct calming frequency, exactly 110 hertz. When she is being professional, which was almost always, she was 25 too. But where James saw the world in abstract equations, Samantha saw it as a tactical puzzle to be dismantled. She was the operator of Mesa, the gunslinger, a frame built for ruthless, high-speed ballistic efficiency. I am detecting an operational anomaly in your sector, James, Samantha said, her face appearing on his secondary tactical display. Her eyes narrowed as she scanned her readouts. Your heart rate spiked by 4 beats per minute when you entered the frame into the rift. Explain. The localized spatial constant of this Grenier galleon is fluctuating. James replied, his tone flat, missing the subtle hint of concern in her voice entirely. I am adjusting Limbo's displacement metrics to compensate. It requires rigorous calculation. Understood. Maintain spatial discipline. I'm moving to the upper catwalks. On the main viewing monitor, Mesa moved with terrifying fluid grace. Samantha didn't waste motion. Every step was calculated to optimize sightlines. Every reload was timed to the millisecond. She was analytical to a fault, a perfectionist who calculated bullet trajectories faster than the ship's navigation computer. But Samantha's internal algorithm had one major unresolvable bug: James. She watched Limbo step effortlessly through the wall of heavy Grenier fire, completely untouched as he slipped between planes of existence. To the rest of the Lotus's operatives, James was distant, eccentric, and difficult to talk to. To Samantha, he was a beautiful, hyper-focused anomaly. She loved how his mind worked. She loved how he could recite the exact atmospheric density of Jupiter's moons from memory, but would forget to eat unless she left a nutrient ration on his console. She had been in love with him for 2 years. James, possessing a genius-level IQ that could map the complex topology of the void, had an emotional blind spot. He assumed Samantha stayed on his comms channel purely because of her tactical efficiency rating maximized their credit yields when paired together. Grenier reinforcements deploying, Samantha announced, her voice tightening as the blast doors hissed open. A wave of energy gunners, heavy gunners, and shield Dargans flooded the corridor. They have nullifier tech, James. Watch your perimeter. A localized cataclysm will isolate them, James muttered. Through limbo, James raised a single elegant hand. He snapped his fingers. A massive, shimmering sphere of gold and black energy erupted outward, tearing a pocket of the rift directly into the physical galleon. Inside the bubble, time stopped. Grenier bullets froze in midair, glowing like trapped fireflies. A heavy gunner remained suspended in a bizarre, awkward angle. A scream locked in its throat. Stasis engaged, James said, a faint note of satisfaction in his voice. The pocket is mathematically secure. Acknowledged. Cleaning up, Samantha said. Mesa dropped the catwalk, landing squarely inside the golden bubble. Because she was allied with Limbo, she could move freely through the frozen pocket of space. She drew her regulators, the twin pistols humming with catastrophic energy. She didn't just shoot. She executed a flawless, pre-calculated sequence of firing arcs. Rip, 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 rip. To James, watching from the pod, the pattern of her muzzle flashes looked like Fibonacci spiral. It was beautiful. Your efficiency is optimal today, Samantha. James noted, his eyes tracking the telemetry data. Your accuracy is at 99.8%. That is a 0.2% increase from last Tuesday. Samantha holstered her weapons as the cataclysm collapsed. The Grenier soldiers hitting the floor simultaneously in a heap of synthesized data and smoke. She looked directly at Limbo's faceless top-hatted visor. I practice, she said softly. I practice because I want to make sure you never have to drop the rift to save me. She thought, are you tracking any more hostiles? The sector is clear. We should extract. Limbo executed a perfect sweeping bow to the empty room, a habit James couldn't break, an expression of the frame's inherent theatrical geometry. Back aboard the Arbiter, the somatic pods hissed open. James stepped out, shivering slightly as the cool air hits his skin. He immediately began pacing, his fingers twitching in a rhythmic pattern against his thigh, and his brain tried to wind down from the high-velocity calculations of the mission. Samantha stepped out of her pod across from him. She didn't look tired. She looked composed, her sharp eyes mapping his pacing routine. She walked over, holding out a heated flask of synthesized tea. She knew the exact temperature he liked it, exactly 62 degrees Celsius. Warm enough to soothe, not hot enough to trigger his sensory aversion. Drink, she said softly. James paused, looking at the flask, then up to her, at her. He took it, his fingers brushing hers a fraction of a second. Samantha's heart rate monitors in her suit spiked, a tiny alert flashing on her HUD. She quickly dismissed it. Thank you, James said, taking a measured sip. Your sensory calculation for this beverage remains flawless. It's just logic, James, Samantha said, a small, rare smile tugging at the corner of her lips. She stepped a little closer, her voice dropping an octave, losing its tactical edge. If the operator isn't functioning at peak capacity, the limbo frame's mathematics suffer. And I like your math. James blinked, staring at her for a long moment. He processed the statement. She likes the math. The math is the subject of my cognitive function. Therefore, she values my utility. I value your tactical contributions as well, Samantha, James said earnestly, completely missing the warmth in her eyes. We form a highly effective combat matrix. Samantha sighed, but it was fun. She reached out, her hand hesitating for a second before she slightly tapped his shoulder. A predictable, non-threatening touch he was always comfortable with. Yeah, James, she said softly, turning back toward her console to log in their mission data, her eyes lingering on his profile in the glass reflection. A perfect matrix. James watched her walk away, his brilliant mind already spinning up a new set of equations to optimize their next drop. He was completely blind to the fact that the most complex, beautiful variables in the room was entirely devoted to him. Alright. Alright. James and Samantha are both assigned to capturing a valuable corpus. Damn it. It's corpus spy. The corpus spy. Damn it. Spy's name is... No, that's not... I want spies, not skies, damn it. Oh, gotta turn my chair on. I'll just leave it low so you guys, you know. The corporate spy's name is... Hilda. Screw it, I'm gonna call her Hilda. Hilda is currently hiding... Oops, yep, it's hiding in an abandoned corpus freighter. Let's go, guys. The mission briefing from the Lotus was simple, but the mathematics of the target were highly complex. Hilda was a high-ranking corpus data architect who had defected with an encrypted Oracle cipher. She wasn't just hiding. She had completely blacked out a derelict corpus freighter drifting in a Jovain radiation belt. Ooh. The freighter has no atmospheric pressure, minimal gravity, and 70% structural decay, Samantha stated, her fingers flying across the orbiter's tactical holographic map. She looked over at James. Hilda is smart. She chose a dead ship because the background radiation masks her biosignatures. Standard scanners can't find her. James didn't look up from his console. His fingers were tapping out a complex 3/4 rhythm against his desk. The radiation is a static variable. It can be filtered. Limbo's rift plane ignores environmental hazards completely. I will map the freighter's structural geometry from the inside. I'll handle perimeter security and tracking, Samantha replied, her analytical mind already calculating entry vectors. If Hilda realizes we're on board, she'll wipe the cipher and trigger the ship's self-destruct. We need to be silent. I'll bring Misa. A logical pairing, James said. Minutes later, two stealth landing craft slipped through the shattered hull of the freighter. Inside the dead ship, the environment was a nightmare of twisted metal, frozen floating debris, and absolute darkness. James immediately initiated transference. Limbo materialized in the corridor choked with frozen coolant vapor. With a swift slide forward, Limbo dashed, a sharp ping echoing through the void as he entered the rift. Instantly, the harsh Jovian radiation scraped against the hull ceased to exist for him. The floating debris froze perfectly in place, suspended in his private dimension. Entering the rift now, James reported over the comms, his voice steady and calm. The structural integrity of this sector is at 24%. Samantha, do not step on the floor plating at Junction 3. It is structurally compromised. Acknowledged. Bypassing via the ceiling struts, Samantha answered. Mesa dropped silently from the ventilation shaft. Her movements is a masterclass in kinetic conversion. Because James had synchronized their frequencies before deployment, Samantha could see the golden outline of his rift plane, using it as a visual guide to avoid the worst of the radiation pockets. She watched Limbo glide through the solid wall of collapsed bulkhead as it were water. It always fascinated her how effortlessly James navigated through things that terrified others. He didn't fear the void. He understood it. I am detecting localized thermal output, James said. Limbo's top hat tilted slightly. Sub-level 4. Hilda had activated a localized life support bubble. She is drawing power from an auxiliary reactor. The probability of her expecting an ambush is 92%. Then we don't ambush her. We trap her, Samantha said, her eyes narrowing behind Mesa's visor. James, if I flush her out from the security hub, can you isolate her path? Yes. A localized banishment wave will force her into the rift plane, separating her from her physical consoles. Oh, wait. She will be unable to initiate a data purge. Perfect. Moving into position. Samantha sprinted forward toward the auxiliary control room. Her analytical brain registered that the subtle traps Hilda had left behind. Laser tripwires wired through plasma charges. Mesa didn't slow down. She tumbled under the first laser, vaulted over the second, and fired a single silent shot from her regulator into the power junction of the third. Pop! The traps went dark. In position, Samantha whispered, hacking into the local door controls. Flushing her out now. A heavy blast door slammed shut behind Hilda's hidden sanctuary, venting emergency argon gas into her chamber. Panicked, a tall corpus woman in sleek tech armor bolted out of the escape hatch, a glowing data drive clutched tightly in her hand. Hilda ran straight down the corridor, her boots magnetized to the floor. Target is moving forward into your vector, James. Speed, 5 meters per second. Samantha dialed in. Vector calculator, James replied. Limbo stepped out of the shadows directly in front of Hilda. Before the spy could even raise her energy pistol, Limbo snapped his fingers. A sharp crystalline sound echoed. A wave of golden rift energy toward her surged forward, engulfing Hilda to the spy. The world suddenly shifted into a monochromatic, inverted nightmare. She tried to fire her pistol at Limbo, but the plasma bolt froze the millisecond it left the barrel, hanging uselessly in the air. You are currently existing in a pocket dimension where kinetic energy is suspended, James explained calmly. Limbo standing perfectly still just inches from her frozen weapon. Your weapon cannot harm me. Your console cannot receive your data purge signal. You are mathematically isolated. Hilda stared in pure terror, completely immobilized by limbo stasis. Samantha dropped down from the ceiling behind Hilda, calmly walking past the frozen plasma bolt. Hey, bunny. Here's your... She reached out and plugged the glowing data drive straight from Hilda's frozen fingers. Cipher secured. Samantha reported, looking over at Limbo. Good timing, James. Your displacement calculation was accurate down to the millimeter. Naturally, James said, though there was a slight tension in his voice. The mental strain of keeping a localized stasis bubble amid Jovian radiation was draining his somatic energy. A bead of sweat rolled down his real cheek inside his pod. Samantha noticed the slight tremor in Limbo's hands. Her analytical mind instantly cross-referenced his pacing, his heart rate, and the power output of his frame. He was overworking his brain to keep her safe from any potential crossfire. Drop to stasis, James. I have the target secured with mag cuffs. She can't run, Samantha said softly. James waved his hand, collapsing the rift. Hilda collapsed to her knees, gasping for air as normal physics slammed back into her body. Mission success. James muttered, his posture relaxing slightly. The matrix holds. Let's get her to the extraction craft, Samantha said, as they walked back carrying through the dark, decaying corridors of the freighter. Samantha deliberately kept Mesa's pace perfectly synchronized with Limbo's. James? She said over the private channel. Yes, Samantha? When we get back to the relay, I found a data log containing old Orokin geometric proofs. They're unsolved. I thought maybe we can look at them together while you drink your tea. James paused for a fraction of a second, his high IQ brain analyzing the offer. An unsolved Orokin proof was incredibly rare, but her offering to sit with him while he processed it was an inefficient use of her rest cycle. Yet, the thought of her sitting across from his console made his chest feel strangely warm, a sensory variable he couldn't quite map. It's been really good. That would be highly optimal, James said, his voice softer than usual. I would enjoy that, Samantha. Samantha smiled in the dark of her helmet, her heart rate spiking again, perfectly content to let him solve the universe's riddles while she slowly solved him. After they found the damn it, found the answer to the cipher, James and Samantha were summoned by the Lotus. Oh, damn it, Lotus. To congratulate them on capturing Hilda. Shortly after Teshin barged in, damn it, alerting them that Parvos Grinham, I think that's his name, Grinham, is attacking What if I made a corporate civil war? No, that'd be dumb. I feel like I'm writing myself into a puzzle here. So after Tesh... Oh, I need Teshin, not Ted him. Alright. Let's see. Lotus immediately. Yeah. Told James and Samantha to secure the relay station and fend off Parvo's forces. Alright, let's see how this goes. The transition from quiet study to active war footing took exactly 3 seconds. James and Samantha stood before the holographic projection of the Lotus. The glowing cipher data hovered between them, fully decoded. Your efficiency in securing Hilda and extracting this Orokin cipher has prevented a major systemic collapse. The Lotus stated, her voice serene and steady. You have done excellent work, operators. Before James could reply with his calculated mission success metrics, the chamber's holographic displays violently flickered. The serene purple light of the Lotus's projection snapped into a harsh, pulsing crimson alert. The heavy blast doors of the chamber hissed open. Teshin stepped through, his dual dax blades already drawn, their metallic hum vibrating through the floor. His expression was grim. Lotus. Teshin barked, his voice cutting through the alarms. Parvos Granum's forces has bypassed the outer planetary grid. His Sisterhood warships are executing an atmospheric drop directly onto the Earth relay. They are targeting the primary reactor core. The Lotus's image stabilized, her hands rising to manipulate a flood of incoming tactical data. Parvos is moving fast. He wants to monopolize the sector's trading routes by crippling our central hub. James, Samantha. There is no time to deploy standard reinforcements. Secure the relay station, fend off immediately. Understood, Samantha said. Her analytical mind instantly switching from peaceful puzzle solving to lethal military strategy. James, launch sequence now. Initiating transference, James replied. His voice was calm, but his brain was already processing the spatial layout of the Earth relay. Overlaying enemy troop drops onto a mental grid. Within minutes, Limbo and Mesa materialized inside the Grand Course of the Earth relay. Concourse of the Earth relay. The usually peaceful station was in absolute chaos. Cephalon alerts screamed over the intercom. Syndicate operatives were fleeing into evacuation pods as corporate specters, robotic MOAs, and sleek golden armored corpus troopers flooded through the breached windows. The enemy vanguard consists of 84 distinct robotic units and 42 organic combatants, James reported. Limbo stepping forward with practiced elegance, he tipped his hat towards a squad of incoming shockwave MOAs. The spatial crowding is highly inefficient. I will fix it. Limbo dashed forward, sliding into the rift plane. With a sweeping motion of his arms, James cast a massive cataclysm bubble right in the center of the concourse. Clack! The golden sphere expanded violently, trapping half of the corpus invasion force inside. James immediately engaged stasis. Instantly, a volley of plasma bolts fired and the corpus froze in midair, looking like neon shards of glass. A group of MOAs remained frozen mid-leap, their robotic legs locked in place. The center lane is locked down, Samantha, James said over the comms. Their kinetic energy is suspended. Perfect. Setting up the kill zone, Samantha replied. Mesa leaped onto a raised decorative fountain in the center of the plaza. Her analytical eye scanned the frozen targets, calculating the exact ricochet angles required to clear the entire room in a single sequence. She drew her regulators. Because Limbo's rift kept the enemy static, Samantha didn't have to worry about tracking unpredictable movement. She opened fire. Rip, 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 rip. Ah. The bullets tore through the golden bubble, dumping immense kinetic energy into the frozen targets. The absolute second James collapsed the cataclysm. The accumulated damage detonated all at once. The Corpus proxy units exploded into showers of sparks and scrap metal, while the surviving organic troops scattered in a panic. Concourse Sector 1 is clear, Samantha reported, her pistol smoking. She glanced at Limbo, her HUD monitoring his biometrics. His neural strain was higher this time. Maintaining a cataclysm inside a vibrating, compromised space station required intense mental processing. James, your vitals are climbing. Take a technical breath. I am functioning within normal parameters, James insisted. Though his fingers twitched inside his somatic pod. However, a secondary wave is breaching the lower reactor doors. Parvos' forces are deploying nullifier shields. If those fields touch my cataclysm, the rift will collapse. Then they won't get close enough to touch it, Samantha said fiercely. Her heart rate spiked. Not from fear, but from a protective instinct that always flared up when James was pushing his brilliant mind to its absolute limits. Follow my lead. We hold the reactor doors. As they sprinted down the metallic corridors toward the core, a voice broke through their localized comms channel. It was deep, arrogant, and laced with an echo of ancient gold. Tenno. Parvos Granum's voice boomed over the station's hacked intercom. You fight for a stagnant status quo. You protected a relay that produces nothing but idle talk. Yield the reactor, and I will grant you a percentage of the new market paradigm. Resist, and you'll be liquidated. Your economic projections failed to account for us, Parvos. James muttered quietly to himself, his IIQ mind already calculating the exact trajectory needed to intercept the Corpus flagship's main power grid. They reached the reactor doors just as a massive Corpus Eximus unit, flanked by nullifier drones, began cutting through the security seals. Samantha, James said, Limbo raising his hand to prepare another spatial rift. We must coordinate our strikes to eliminate the nullifiers before I deploy the stasis matrix. I'm already locking onto their shield generators. Samantha replied. Mesa dropped into her gunslinger stance, her analytical mind mapping the chaotic battlefield. On your mark, James. Let's show Parvis what Matrix can do. I'm trying to make this into a romance story between Limbo and Mesa, but it's kind of tricky because I only have maybe 5 or 10 minutes left. So I gotta actually find a way to make this story end, but at least add some romance to it. Right. Yeah, let's see. As James and Samantha James could not stop looking at the way Mesa, the way looking up. Alright, here we go. I'm trying to make it to where James has an interest and is starting to feel romantic towards Samantha. The last of Parvo's proxy units fell in a shower of sparks as Samantha's regulators spun into her holsters. James' final precisely timed cataclysm collapse, venting the remaining corpus plasma bolts harmlessly in a vacuum through a sealed breach. Parvos' flagship pulled back into the Jovian void, its economic invasion thoroughly bankrupt. The Earth relay station was secure. Back aboard their shared orbiter, the high-velocity rush of combat began to drain away. The metallic hiss of the somatic pods echoed in the quiet chamber as both operators disconnected from transference. James stepped out of his pod, but for the first time in his life, he didn't immediately begin his rhythmic pacing routine. He didn't look at his tactical monitors. He didn't even check the credit yields from the mission. He just stood by his console, staring across the room at Samantha. His high IQ brain, usually a hyper-efficient machine that cataloged numbers and spatial vectors, was experiencing a cognitive bottleneck. He couldn't stop visualizing the way Samantha used Mesa. To the rest of the Origin system, Mesa was a blunt instrument of lethal force, a gunslinger that cleared rooms with chaotic gunfire. But to James, who saw the world in absolute geometry, Samantha's performance was a mathematical masterpiece. He visualized the data tracks in his mind, the exact 45-degree ricochet angle she used to bypass nullifier shields, the perfect kinetic conversation of her rolls, and the fluid, flawless Fibonacci spirals formed by her muzzle flashes. It was just efficient. It was beautiful. The realization made his chest tighten, a physical sensation that didn't align with any environmental variable in the room. Samantha stepped out of her pod, running a hand through her hair. Her analytical eyes immediately picked up on his stasis-like stillness. She noted his lack of pacing, his unblinking focus, and the slight flush on his face. She walked over to her console, picking up his heated flask of tea, exactly 62 degrees Celsius, and walked it over to him. "James?" she asked, her voice dropping to that soft, comforting frequency he always recognized. "Your brain is running hot. I can practically hear the gears grinding from here. What are you calculating?" James looked from his flask up to her eyes. He didn't take the tea right away. "I am replaying the telemetry data from the relay concourse," James said. His voice suddenly quiet, lacking its usual flat, mechanical cadence. "Your combat sequence with Mesa. I have been applying various algorithmic models to it." Samantha paused, holding the flask between them. "And? Did I miss a shot?" "No," James said quickly, his eyes locking onto hers with intense, hyper-focused earnestness. "Your accuracy was absolute. But it was more than that. The way you manipulate the ballistic vectors. It is a perfect symmetry. It pairs with... Oh, crap. What is it? Ah, damn. It pairs with Limbo's mathematics in a way that shouldn't be statistically possible based on standard frame energy charts." He took a step closer, entirely unaware of how close he was standing. His brilliant mind was trying to solve a puzzle it had never encountered before. "I've spent my entire life filtering out the noise of other people because they do not make sense to me," James whispered, his fingers twitching slightly against his side. "But your logic, Samantha, your logic is flawless. When I'm in the rift, I feel isolated from the universe. But when I look at your data tracks, I do not feel isolated. I feel synchronized." Samantha's breath caught. Her internal HUD, if she were wearing her suit, would have been screaming with alert red lines. Her heart rate violently spiked, jumping by 20 beats per minute. Because James was standing so close, and because his senses were highly acute, he heard the sudden rapid shift in her breathing. He saw the pulse fluttering at the base of her throat, His high IQ mind instantly cross-referenced this data with past missions. The mission on the derelict firefighter, the extraction of Hilda, the congratulations from the Lotus. Every time she is within 1.5 meter radius of my physical person, her heart rate spikes. I was just reading that part in italic. I just realized that he was actually just thinking to himself. Samantha, James said, his brow furrowing as he processed the new equation. Your cardiovascular metrics are fluctuating abnormally. You are not under physical exertion, yet your heart rate has increased by 23% since I began speaking. Samantha let out a short, breathless laugh, her cheeks warming. She realized her analytical armor was completely useless against a man who could read her biology like a data pad. Damn it. Glasses keep falling down. She sat the flask down on the console, stepping into his space, refusing to let her heart rate hide the truth any longer. James, she said softly, looking directly into those brilliant, confused eyes. Run the data again. Look at the variable you always leave out of your equations. Which variable? Sorry guys, this is kind of just getting a little weird for me. He asked, generally baffled. Me, Samantha said, reaching out to gently touch his arm. Her touch, predictable, warm, and steady. I don't just calculate those shots for efficiency, James. I calculate them to keep you safe. I've been synchronized with you for 2 years. It's not just a combat matrix. I'm in love with you, you beautiful idiot. James froze. The word love entered his cognitive processor. It was an abstract, unquantifiable concept until he mapped it against her actions. The exact 62-degree T, the way she always held his comms channel open, the protective angles of her gunfire, the constant protective presence of Mesa beside his limbo. The equation finally solved itself. The answer wasn't a number, it was her. I know it's like right around my bedtime. I'll hold out for a few minutes. Gotta make the story end. A few days passed. Samantha went to the park. No. To a mission. Nope. On her own. No, that's dumb. Then I went to oh god, I'm stuck. I hit a wall. Alright, I got it. And James went to Earth on a personal mission. They went to Earth, let's see. James, they're just gonna go on a date. James could help, but love the way Samantha's Misa feels in perfect sync with his limbo. Samantha explains to him, James, on how he overuses the rift to protect her. Alright. The Earth relay station has been repaired, but James and Samantha chose to the untouched wild forests of Oregon restored Earth for their date. They brought their frames. For two operators who spent most of their lives synchronized through the somatic link, a walk in their human bodies felt incomplete without the comforting weight of their warframes nearby. Limbo and Mesa stood side by side on a mossy cliffside overlooking a massive waterfall. James stood close to Samantha, his fingers tracing a light rhythm against his leg to manage the sensory input of the rushing water. Yet his mind was entirely focused on the telemetry humming between their frames. The spatial resonance is still holding, James murmured, looking from his data pad to Samantha, even idling. The distance between Limbo's rift displacement and Mesa's ballistic standard deviation is exactly 0.03 millimeters. I love it. I love how your Mesa feels in perfect synchronization with my Limbo. It is a flawless feedback loop. Samantha offered a rare, soft smile, her analytical eyes watching the way his face lit up when he spoke about their symmetry. She reached out, sliding her hand into his, her fingers locking perfectly between his. It is a perfect loop, James, Samantha said gently. But your data models are missing a critical human variable. We need to talk about your energy expenditure during the Parvos invasion. James blinked, his high IQ mind instantly pulling up the logs from the relay battle. My energy reserves remained within a 12% margin of safety. The cataclysm bubbles were maintained at peak structural integrity. Yes, because you overextend your neural link to keep them that way, Samantha countered, her voice firm but laced with deep affection. She turned to face him fully. I analyzed the tactical playback. You deployed 3 consecutive banishment waves into sectors where I've already calculated flawless evasion routes. You are overusing the rift to protect me, James. James looked down at their jointed hands, processing her words. The probability of a stray plasma bolt piercing your shields was non-zero. If you are injured, the combat matrix degrades by 47%. James, Samantha said, stepping closer until her forehead gently rested against his shoulder. Her heart rate spiked in that familiar warm pattern he now recognized. The combat matrix isn't why you did it. You did it because you were scared that I'd get hurt. You don't have to hide behind your math anymore. I am Mesa's operator. I calculate the danger before it even happens. She lifted her head, looking directly into his eyes. You don't need to burn out your mind trying to build a perfect cage around me. Trust my logic in the way I trust your math. Let me stand beside you in the physical world, not just inside your rift. James stayed quiet for a long moment, the heavy rush of the waterfall filling the silence. For the first time, his brilliant mind didn't try to calculate an argument. He felt the steady, predictable warmth of her hand in his, and the realization settled into his chest like a beautifully solved proof. I understand, James said softly, his fingers tightening gently around hers. Trust is a highly efficient variable. I will adjust my parameters, Samantha. Samantha laughed. A bright, clear sound that quietly disrupted the quiet forest. That's all I ask. My brilliant idiot. Oh, that's a good story. Hope you guys enjoyed this live stream, and thank you guys for watching. Have a good night, everybody. Bye. Alright. Oh, wrong button.